Magnet television.
Magnet television.
Magnet television.
You're watching Magnet television because what else are you going to do?
Hello, Magnet Television. This is Peter
And John.
from Peter, Bjorn and John, the Swedish trio. And Bjorn had to go to sleep. What is your all-time favorite song today? Maybe.
Ooh.
Might change tomorrow, but today.
Song. Can it be an instrumental?
Any type of song. Like a musical piece.
I think a song I don't get tired of is maybe it's very common to say this, but Miles Davis, So What, the first track from the Kind of Blue album. I don't know what it is with that one, or someone, nobody knows what it is, but it's every time you hear it, it's like the first time, I feel like. You listen to it over and over and over again. Every time it feels like you're in that room with those musicians. And I really love the simpleness, the simple theme. You can hear the listening between the musicians, and the solos in the band are like melodies. I mean, to me it's like transcendental, what do you say in English, but it's more than music.
Wow.
What's
it's
your
like
favorite?
psychedelic answer.
Yeah.
I'm getting like high of your answer. I'm lost in space.
Yeah, sorry. What's your favorite song?
Of all time. It's a tough one. So many songs out there. But I'm gonna, like you, go very classic, and I'm gonna say Strawberry Fields Forever. Because, when you were a kid and you didn't understand what was happening on that record, it's such a weird... I'm talking about the record now, I'm really not talking about the song, but the song is really good too. There's a demo with just acoustic guitar, and it's very beautiful melodies and harmonies, so it works as a folk song too. It's a weird folk song, but the record is, it's crazy. It's a crazy record, but also very melancholic and sort of depressive in a way. And it suits me, because melancholy gets me uplifted, as long as there's melodies too. And there's all those weird backwards guitars and tamburas, and then you realize, when you read about it, it's all done in different tempos, and then they fixed it together. And of course, that time it was so tricky. So everything you read about it too is so interesting, how you were able to make a record like that on 4 tracks and different tempos and like cutting them together. Now it's a piece of cake, but back then it's quite hard work. But it always puts me in a weird mood, and it's like, what is this? And you get transferred back to when you heard it the first time when you were 7 or something. It's like, what is this? Aliens. So, yeah, good. The album that changed your life.
Oh God, so hard. Maybe my normal answer would be Van Halen, 1984, because the song "Jump" was the first song I heard that made me feel love. The song started something in me, this feeling in your tummy that you don't know where that feeling comes from, came from that song. I'm sorry, but that's true. But maybe the album that changed my life could have been like a classical percussion album, because that's what I ended up studying to become, and I worked as a classical percussionist. So I had this old cassette with Manhattan Percussion Ensemble playing pieces by John Cage and Henry Cowell, American composers, and it sounds very raw and for being a classical album, and that made me realize you can make music with just percussion instruments. And that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Now I play music with bass guitar and drums. So life takes turns.
Yeah.
But but what about you, Peter? What's your most amazing, what is the question, album that changed your life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on how you see it. I mean, you can see it in different ways. And since it's such an impossible answer, impossible question.
Impossible answer.
So I mean, there's a lot of albums I love, but I'm gonna answer in a different perspective. Still an answer. So I would say Writer's Block, which is our third record with the band. And just before that record, we recorded that record, I was studying to become a librarian. So I was sort of giving up on this childhood dream of making music for a living. I actually never really had music for a living before that either. I was studying different stuff and having extra jobs and stuff, but always dreaming about music. But of course, after that album, it was a third album, and we were able to make this band a day job, basically, and tour and make new records, and that's something I really hadn't hoped for. I mean, I hoped for it, but I wouldn't dream it would become true. So that literally changed my life. I quit library school. So yeah. I mean, yeah, that's also an answer.
Very good answer.
Yeah, like,
and that's true.
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
The best concert I've been to, that was jazz concert on Fasching Jazz Club in Stockholm with a German pianist called Alexander von Slippenbach. He plays Thelonious Monk's songs with the quintet with the free jazz musicians. And I was tricked into that concert by a friend of you, Niklas Korsell or something. Someone told me this is going to be a good concert. I just went there and it was mind-blowing because it was totally unpredictable. It's a mix between jazz, free jazz, humor, musicality. Yeah, it's amazing. So that might be my answer. I can't figure out. We have performed a lot of good gigs, but I can't pick one.
No, it's really hard. I tend to forget. I usually pick the latest one, unless it's really bad. But yeah, it's probably easier to remember the bad ones.
Yeah.
But best concert. Oh Jesus!
We had a good concert in Umeå a couple of years ago. I remember.
Yeah.
That was pretty in north of Sweden. Someone said it was a classic.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well,
have you seen a good concert in your life?
I've seen a lot of good concerts. I just have to remember what the best one is. I mean, best is such a hard word. But it could be a concert that you remember that made a really big impression on you. I mean, I can't really remember everything about this, but when I was 16 or 16 or 17, me and Bjorn had another band, and we played this big festival in Sweden that is not alive anymore. It's defunct. It's a defunct festival. It's out in the woods in Småland called Hultsfredsfestivalen, and we played the demo stage, which was the stage with the bands that didn't have a record contract. And it's funny now because a lot of people that played that year, this was 1993, it's a long time ago, a lot of the artists who play there are still like quite big artists here in Sweden. I mean, not in the world, but so I don't have to talk about it to Maggie because you won't recognize the names. But I can tell you afterwards. but one of the bands that played there that didn't have a record contract was Bob Hund. And I hadn't heard a note from them before, like nothing. And it was really different to everything I've seen before, and it really made a big impression on me. Like just the way you handle the stage and just the weird characters and the sound they made together. And the funny thing, I remember like Bjorn and none of the other people in the band, they all said it was shit, and I was the only one who liked it. So like then half a year later, like everyone was loving it. So that's usually the thing with me. I'm a bit before.
orakel.
Yeah, I'm an oracle. No, but they got a record contract after that and became. They're still a big band in Sweden, so and one of the best bands in Sweden.
Yeah.
But this was like really early days, and I'm glad I saw that concert because it's sort of a legendary concert, and that I got it. I mean, that I loved it. So I was like talking to it about it with everyone afterwards. So that's yeah, good. Yeah. What was your most embarrassing musical moment, John?
Oh my God. Let's talk something with the band, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably a lot.
Which one? The first is one of our first festival gig was pretty embarrassing because we had to build the stage ourselves. We had our set time at 3 in the afternoon, and the university in Stockholm. And when we got to the stage, there was no stage. So you have to build it. So we had to put up the stage floor, rig the speakers, and so we were builders and the first band. That was pretty bit embarrassing, maybe.
Yeah.
But probably even more embarrassing stuff.
Yeah, there's so many.
In Jönköping, we played in southern Sweden on a Chinese restaurant. Peter wrecked the stage.
I went through it.
Yeah, we went through
the roof.
Yeah.
It was a crappy stage, though. Yeah. But
you fell from stage in Madrid as well.
Yeah, I fell from a stage.
That was scary.
That was really scary.
Yeah, it's really
I thought I was going to die. Because I didn't see anything. It was pitch black dark everywhere, and luckily I fell into a guitar case or something, standing on the side of the cage. And that was good, because I just hurt my leg a lot. But if I wouldn't have fallen into that, I would have fallen on the floor, which was stone floor, so it was pretty bad. But I fell off stage in Paris too once. It was fun. But I don't know. I'm not sure if that is embarrassing. It's kind of cool. It's cool. But embarrassing. I don't know. I think it's a tough question because often embarrassing is good.
Yeah.
You know, it might feel really terrible in the moment, but it probably leads to something, good.
You want nerves when you to feel it. So the best concerts are when stuff happens that's not predictable. It's like someone starting to fight with a bass player on stage, or playing the wrong notes and have to start. I mean, you don't want to be the best band in the world. That's boring. It's better to be the worst band.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a question of what you see as best, like the other questions we had.
Yeah.
Like I think we enjoy stuff that is really live and in the moment, and I mean, record is one thing. Record is something you captured and worked on, but live should be sort of that nerve thing, and you almost can be a bit scared, like what is going to happen if you stand in the audience, like this is uncomfortable, but in a good way, and then afterwards it's like a release, and you're like, what happened, And that's sort of if everyone is comfortable and cozy and
it's not
afraid to be embarrassed, then it's a boring concert.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a weird answer, but
no, I think I totally agree.
Yeah. So more embarrassment,
more irrationality.
Yeah.
For the word. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Magnus.
Cine.